also seen on Facebook and heard over radio. So that's the thing that I'm contributing now in strengthening Filipino families.
I think maybe if you give me a little bit of time, I would like to just talk about the attachment theory. So I think when you talk about the psyche of a vulnerable child, the words that come to me was like attachment theory is quite important. So what is attachment theory? Just to sort of look around, are there anybody here who's a social worker or psychologist? No? Okay, all right. So yeah, okay, attachment theory. This is a very foundational, fundamental theory. So this theory says, right, in the development of a child, of any human being, attachment is key and foundational. Many of us here actually grew up with families, right? Yeah? So basically we get our attachment from families. What is attachment? Attachment is basically a relationship with a trusted adult, at least one trusted adult. Many of us here actually have more than one trusted adult. So when we are able to have that warm and responsive relationship with somebody, like, you know, that person may not have everything, but at least be able to respond with love to a child, actually you build up your intrapersonal skills and capability. So it's come to a point where, like, you know, the neuroscience actually shows that when a child does not have strong attachment, certain things happen in the brain development. Like, you know, we've seen, like, you know, brain scans of Romanian orphans, for example, or 3-year-old Romanian orphans that do not have healthy attachment versus healthy attached children from families. You can see that the brain sizes are smaller, the frontal lobes and temporal lobes are less alive and less developed. So this leads to developmental challenges. The frontal lobes and temporal lobes are actually in charge of learning, so you see poorer school outcomes. They've got poorer memories, poorer cognitive functioning, and then it's also in charge of behavioral emotional regulation. So when a child does not get, like, you know, proper attachment needs met, they find that they are not able to regulate their emotions properly, their behavior properly. So when they grow up, right, and somebody says something they don't like, their response is, what? Punch, right? Most of us don't do that. We go like, oh, okay, hang on, I gotta control my emotions, you know, let's not punch anybody on stage. Yeah. So, you know, so basically, like, I would say that when we look at the psyche of a vulnerable child, one of the biggest challenges that we see in Singapore and internationally today, especially for children with trauma, is attachment, healthy attachment, to be able to reintroduce healthy attachment to the child. So that's once again why community is very important. So maybe I can just give an example of how a community initiative does not introduce healthy attachment so that we can see what community initiatives actually help healthy attachment and why World Vision initiatives are actually really good, right? I mean, I'm a child sponsor. I just started being a child sponsor for World Vision. So I can't say that, you know, I'm speaking as sort of an almost neutral party, right? So, like, you know, for example, orphanages. If somebody in Singapore goes to Batam, and I've known a lot of people because, like, basically I work in churches to try to educate people amongst the Christian community, to educate people about how to help vulnerable children in mission trips. They go to Batam and they see kids running around grumpy and disheveled and in a poor village, no education. If you ask a typical Singaporean or maybe a typical person from anywhere in the world, they'll say, oh, I got to build an orphanage. Why? Because when they say build an orphanage, it means that I just want to deal with a kid. I want to cut away this family because the family is so poor and uneducated, I can't even talk to them. So it's too messy, I don't want to deal with them. And then basically the community, oh, it's so poor, it's very messy, I don't want to deal with them too. I just want to help this child. So they cut them off and put them in a nice building, right? And then they try to help the child this way. But I mean, actually, decades of research actually shows that this way of helping the child has got very, very bad effects. Like example, randomized control trials actually show that if you put a child in orphanage, as compared to a foster family, for example, the IQ can be 20 points less. That's the difference between normal and subnormal. Like, you know, you cut off the social networks of a child, so that basically when they grow up, they got much fewer people to go to for help, and everybody needs help, you know, at some point, especially vulnerable children. And then you have other things like, because of the way the brain develops, you're going to have increased risk of suicide, substance abuse, aggression, violence, risky sexual behavior. This is all in the research. So basically, it's quite dangerous to actually look at a child and just cut them off from a community and their family. So that's basically the psyche of that's what's needed for a child to develop safely and healthily.
Just while by your sharing. Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that make the World Vision child sponsorship very unique is the holistic way when we look at developing not just the relationship with the child, but the community. Well, many churches and many organizations